distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now let's move on to our next session, that is Sarawak Focus. So the sneak peek of hydropower development and community engagement programs in Sarawak. So it is with great pleasure and honor to invite Mr. Sharbini Suhaili, Chief Executive Officer of Sarawak Energy Berhad, Malaysia. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. And for our visitors from overseas, welcome to Kuching, the land of the hornbills. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to speak at the 13th World Islamic Economic Forum this morning. Today I will share with you the Sarawak story of hydropower development and how it has transformed the state. Let me just say a few words about my company, Sarawak Energy. Sarawak Energy is owned by the state government of Sarawak. We have a very long history. We can trace back our origins to the early 1920s, when we were a unit under the Public Works Department, under the Brooke administration. Today, we generate power mainly through hydro, as well as thermal resources, that is gas and coal. We have 5,000 staff serving about 650,000 customers, covering domestic, commercial, industrial, and export customers through an extensive transmission and distribution network. Currently, our customers enjoy among the lowest tariff in Southeast Asia. We take a holistic view of energy development and in balancing energy security, sustainability, and affordability. In Sarawak Energy, we are focused on a balanced generation mix for reliable and for reliability and security of supply. In terms of affordability, we offer among the lowest tariff in the region, mainly driven by hydropower development. And for sustainability, 75% of our gen mix is renewable hydro energy, and the developments are guided by international best practices, such as the International Hydropower Association, IHA, Sustainability Assessment Protocol. This chart shows the power demand and supply in the state from 1985 to 2025, demonstrating how we have put in place a comprehensive plan to deliver reliable and competitively priced energy to drive the economic development of the state. The bar chart shows the demand and the line are the supply. The blue bars are hydro projects starting in 1985 with Patang Ai, and then we have Bakun in 2011 and Murum in 2014. And the yellow boxes are the gas-fired power plants and the CCGTs, and the brown are the coal-fired power plant. So if you look at the red bar, the economic demand grew at about 5 to 6% per annum from 1985 to this year. And we expect that the growth of the organic demand will maintain as we move forward. And the dark blue bars are the large industries in Samalaju Industrial Park, which started to set foot in SIP as we were building our hydro projects in about 2009. The orange bar shows the export to Kalimantan. We have started to export to Kalimantan in January 2016, and for the last 3 weeks, we have been exporting more than 200 megawatts to Kalimantan. And the light blue bars are the future large industries in Samalaju. Today, our installed capacity is 4,652 megawatts, and it is expected to rise to about 8,000 megawatts by 2025 when the Bale hydroelectric project comes on stream. Then this chart shows the gen mix and the installed capacity. You can see that in the year 2000, we have less than 1,000 megawatt of generation capacity, and 74% of the gen mix was hydrocarbon fuel. Today, in 2017, hydropower represents 75% of the Sarawak generation mix. We have also about 7 megawatts of solar power installed, particularly in the rural areas. To ensure the security of supply, we are also incorporating thermal resources into our gen mix, harnessing our indigenous coal and gas resources. But we will maintain a significant proportion of hydropower in our gen mix going forward. Just touch a bit on Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy, or SCORE. The SCORE is a comprehensive economic plan to transform the state economy into a high-income state by harnessing Sarawak's abundant energy resources and attracting and developing international energy-intensive industries to the state. So back in 2004 or 2005, the state had become increasingly concerned that our finite oil and gas resources were depleting, and the oil royalties will not last forever. While additional petroleum resources have since been discovered, it was clear that without a new driver of wealth creation, the reduction in the oil and gas revenue would eventually have a significant impact on the state economy. It was also very clear that potential for further expansion of timber industry and oil palm plantations in the state would be limited. So the Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy, or SCORE, concept was thus developed as a proactive strategy reflecting the government's determination to ensure a secure and long-term future of our economy and of our future generations. So the state was looking at a model of sustainable growth, sustainable economy development, driven by renewable hydropower development. This chart shows clearly, this chart actually is a comparison of levelized cost of energy for different fuel sources in US cent per kilowatt hour. You can see that large hydro offers the lowest levelized cost. Diesel is the most expensive, even in today's low oil price environment. Solar prices have been falling rapidly, but there are still challenges, particularly for the tropics with thick cloud cover and rainy seasons. So our strong focus was on hydropower development, as it is based on the realization that large hydropower offers the lowest levelized cost of energy among the different field technologies available today. And as a result of the high percentage of hydropower in our gen mix, today Sarawak has among the lowest tariff within the Asian region, and I can say that actually we have the lowest unsubsidized tariff in the region today. And if you look in the chart, we are close to 40% lower than Peninsular Malaysia and more than 100% lower than Singapore. This has allowed Sarawak to attract significant investments from power-intensive industries to the state. And one of them is, of course, the Samalaju Industrial Park, which is one of the 5 growth nodes of SCORE. So this picture shows an overview of SIP, and due to the hydropower development and affordable and competitively priced tariff, the state has successfully attracted a number of international energy-intensive industries to Samalaju. Today, we have a committed demand of more than 2,000 megawatts, which is about 40% of our generation capacity or installed capacity from the industrial customers in Samalaju Industrial Park. We have also reached an important milestone in realizing our aspiration to be a regional powerhouse with a major step forward in the Trans-Borneo grid. As I mentioned earlier, we have commenced export to West Kalimantan in January 2016, and we are, as we speak, working with, on power exchange agreements with an interconnection with Sabah and with Brunei as well. We are also working on potential power development partnerships in North Kalimantan, in Kaltara, which is Kalimantan Utara. Now let me just share a bit more on the journey of Sarawak Energy's hydropower development. A study on hydro potential in the state in the 80s and the 90s with the support of the German government showed that Sarawak has a potential for as much as 20,000 megawatts of hydropower. It became apparent at that time that the best strategy for the state to develop its full economic potential was to utilize these abundant and renewable energy resources. Environmental impact is an important aspect for consideration in planning of our projects. All of our projects are developed in accordance with International Hydropower Association Sustainability Assessment Protocol and the International Commission on Large Dam, or ICOL, guideline. From our studies, if you see on the chart, we estimate that about 2% of our total land area in Sarawak would be utilized if all of the identified hydro projects are executed, including the ones which are already in operation and the one under development. Currently, we have 3 hydropower plants operating. Batang Ai was about 108 megawatts, commissioned in 1984, followed by Bakun, 2,400 megawatts in 2011, and recently Murum, 944 megawatts, with a capacity of, which was commissioned in 2014. And we are building on the experience from these 3 projects to further improve our processes for the next hydropower development, which is the one on the far right, the Baleh project, 1285 megawatts, which will be completed in 2025. In terms of environmental concerns, since we embark on hydropower development, the high percentage of hydro in our generation mix has reduced our carbon intensity in our generation by about 72% since 2010, making a significant contribution towards Malaysia's drive in achieving its Paris COP21 target. Now let me move to sustainability. As a responsible business entity, we want to be managing our business to minimize any negative impact of our operations to the environment and to the communities surrounding our assets, and we want to maximize the positive benefits of what we do to the community around us. And as we advance hydropower in the region and grow our positions as a leading developer of this renewable energy source in Southeast Asia, Sarawak Energy is participating in international conferences to showcase our strengths and highlight our sustainability journey. We have established partnership with International Sustainability Association, and we adopt their best practices. Sarawak Energy is a platinum member of IHA, and I sit on the board of IHA. Sarawak Energy is also a member of the UN Global Compact Network 2017, and we sit on the advisory board as a member. And we are also a gold member of the Global Reporting Initiative since, or GRI since 2016. And as a company, we believe in and we contribute to the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, which is a set of 17 targets that call for cooperation between the public and the private sectors and civil society to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all by the year 2030. And to keep our stakeholders and our investors updated on our sustainability development drive, we have been producing our annual sustainability report since 2014 in accordance with the Global Reporting Initiative guidelines. Very high on our agenda is rural electrification. We have set ourselves a target of 100% electricity coverage to the whole state before 2025. Today, the total state domestic coverage is at 95%, and for rural areas, it's about 89% by the end of 2017. There's remaining about 1,600 villages and 36,000 households that are yet to be supplied with 24 hours electricity supply. And we will close that gap by development of mini or micro hydros and solar generation system for these remote communities under our Sarawak Alternative Rural Electrification Scheme, or SARES. I'll just quickly touch on the case study of the Murum Hydroelectric Project Resettlement Scheme. As I mentioned earlier, Murum is a 944 megawatt hydropower project completed in 2014. For the Murum project, our social investment programs were developed together with the communities themselves and with the various government agencies. Here is a very good example of how the affected communities, in particular the Penans, have benefited from a focused, proactive CSR and social investment program. Prior to the Murum project, the affected communities' lifestyle was mainly semi-nomadic with no fixed income. They have a very low literacy rate because of the limited access to formal education. In fact, less than 20% of the communities receive formal education before then. There's great distance to the proper health services. There's no provision of basic infrastructures and limited access to markets for alternative business opportunities for the community. Post-Murum project, the resettled communities themselves chose the sites for the new homes, and upon resettlement, the Murum Penan community have access to improved housing with amenities such as 24/7 electricity and water supply. Schools were built for the Tegulang and Matalun resettlement communities, so the children in Murum can now attend classes more regularly with primary schools set up closer to their homes. We have also established a flagship Murum Penan literacy program where we have 400 adults who previously could not read and write can now perform simple reading, writing, and numeracy. So these programs have received international awards and recognition for the positive changes brought about to the affected communities. Apart from improvement in literacy rate and school attendance, we've also seen increasing entrepreneurship as a result of our ongoing CSR initiatives with the community to enhance the marketability of their handicrafts. In fact, Sarawak Energy buys all of the produced handicraft that meet certain standards as our corporate gift. And we found that this is much better than buying a corporate gift from China. In closing, I would like to reiterate the positive disruptions brought about by hydropower development in Sarawak. It provides a platform for socio-economic transformation. It delivers renewable, affordable energy for all Sarawakians, and it brings about reduction of carbon intensity of electricity supply in the state, and it is uplifting living standard of the affected community. Thank you, and I would like to direct your attention to a short video on hydropower in Sarawak. So, in conclusion, energy drives development, and hydropower in Sarawak is a driver to transform the economy and providing positive livelihood opportunities to the communities in a sustainable manner. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sharbini Suhaili, Chief Executive Officer of Sarawak Energy Berhad. Thank you very much.